Okay, this is the second file of the practice test, and we have already done the first file in two separate videos. So this is actually our third video, but it's the first one on this file. So we have a number of topics down here at the bottom, and this one has to do with dates. And the first thing we have to do is put a formula in B2 that will always display the current date regardless of when the spreadsheet is open. So that's the today function. So let's just go up here and type in equals today, and you got to put the parentheses in to indicate that it's a function, otherwise you get an error message. So I'm doing this on December 8th, 2017. If I come in tomorrow and open this up, it'll say December 9th, 2017. The birthdays in column C are date serial numbers. Okay, so we want to select them and format them. Okay, there we go. And so we format them with a day, a 3-letter month, and a 4-digit year. So let's just right click and go to Format Cells, and this is a date option. And so I said I want the month, the day, and a 4-digit year. That's the month, the day of the month as a 3-letter word. But I want a 4-digit year. So I'm looking for something like this, but with a 4-digit year on the end. 3 characters for the, there we go. The day, 3 letters for the month, and 4 digits for the year. Click on OK. And now they're all formatted like that. In column D, put a formula that will compute the age that the person will be after his or her birthday this year. Do this by subtracting the year of the person's birth from the current year. Okay, well, what's the current year? And we have to use a spreadsheet or a formula that will work regardless of when the spreadsheet is opened. So we can't just assume 2017. If I open this a month from now and it's 2018, it should still work. So what I want is this might be one of those things where it's easier just to go off to the side here and do 2 separate functions. I want to know the year of B2, okay, but that is an absolute cell reference, and so I need to put the $signs in, because when I copy this to the next row, I don't want it to become B3. I always want this to have the year of whatever is up there in B2. Okay, so if I come in next year and it says 2018, this will be 2018. And when I copy this, because I put an absolute cell reference in, it's just going to say 2017 all the way down. And then I want to know what their age is going to be when they have their birthday this year. So I need to know what year was their birthday. And so the birthday is C5 for this guy, and it's 1992. And now I'm going to take these 2 formulas and I'm going to copy them all the way down the page. Okay, and obviously I'm going to get 217 or 2017 all the way down here, and when we get over here is the person's birthday, and when they have a birthday this year, we will just subtract 2017 minus their birthday. So I can go over here and I just put in a formula that references those 2 cells, so it's going to be equal F5 minus F5 minus G5, and hit enter. And if somebody's born in 1992, that'd make them 25 today. And if we take this and just copy it all the way down, that's all there is to it. Okay. So what else do we have? We want to know if there was a birthday this month. Let's look at the instructions for that. True if they have a birthday this month, and false if they do not. Okay, so this month is December, but next month will be January, and I want to get the month of that regardless of when this sheet is open. So over here I'm going to put a formula that will give me the month of this cell right here, and that needs to be an absolute cell reference as well. So I need to put the $signs in, and so that should be 12, and that's going to be 12 all the way down. And then here I want a formula to give me the month of the birthday. Well, that's this right here. So don't need $signs because we're going to copy this down the page, and I want the C5 to change to a C6. Okay, now let's take these 2 And whoops, let's try selecting those again and get our fill handle and just drag it all the way down to the bottom of our data here. And now I've got this month and the month of their birthday. So I want true here if their birthday is this month. Well, I don't want a true here, I don't want a true here, but I want a true here. So what I want to know is, I want to know if this is equal to this, and if it is, then I want true here. So I'm just going to do a simple logical test. Equals H5, and I want to know if that is equal to I5. And if it is, I'll get the value true in there, but 12 is not equal to 11. So I'm going to copy down just a couple more here. And if I look at this one, 12 is equal to 12, so I get the value true there. So every place where somebody has a birthday this month, this is going to work. Okay. So this says true, there's a December birthday. This says true, there's a December birthday. See if we got any more here. This says true, December birthday. True, December birthday, and true. So we got 5 of them that are in December. Okay, now, so this guy, number 3, is true, and actually it's row 7 and row 19. Now I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this to next year, 1/1/2018. Enter. Okay, and row 3 and row 17 should now be false. Or was it 19? I don't know. 19. But anybody who has a birthday in January, like this guy, and now it says true, and this guy says true, and this guy says true. So it will tell me who has a birthday in the month that I opened this. Now I'm going to undo this because I want to leave that today formula there. Okay. Now, when I did these formulas here, I used a couple of cells over here to help me figure it out. I didn't necessarily have to do that, but sometimes breaking it into smaller pieces makes it easier. I could have done this though. I could have said, just done it all right in here. I could have said equals year of what's in B2, $B, $2, minus the year of C5. Okay. And that'll give me 25, and none of these numbers are going to change. If you watch when I copy this down, the numbers will be the same afterwards as they were before. So I recalculated them and it looked like they might change, but they did not. So this formula here, if you look up here at the formula, is exactly the same thing as what I had before, except I'm doing all the calculations in here, and I don't need any helper cells over here to do the computations. Either way works. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you get the correct answer. Okay, now let's click on pivot. We're probably going to have to do a pivot table here. And it says use a pivot table to determine the total value of each stock type. Okay, so I want the total current value column, which is right here. And I want them grouped by type, which is over here. So if you want to do a pivot table, that's on the Insert tab, and choose Pivot Table. And if you start off with the cursor in the data, then you don't have to do anything on this dialog box here. Just click on OK. And what I want is the type. And so turn on the checkbox for type, and we'll get a list of the types. And then the total current value. And that's it. I mean, it'd be nice if we formatted this and made it look a little prettier. So it's easier to read. We don't need decimal places. But that's all there is to it. Okay, let's go to Fun 1. And this is some financial functions. Okay, I've got a little template here for you. And let's see if I put formulas in here. I did not put formulas in here, so you have to put your own formulas on these two. So if you invest $25,000 and leave it in the bank, now it's going to be our present value, right? So we're going to put $25,000 there. The regular payment, we're not going to add anything to it, so regular payment is going to be 0. The annual rate is 8%. It's going to be compounded quarterly for 10 years. So 10 years, and the periods per year, if it's quarterly, is going to be 4. And then the rate per period is going to be equal to the annual rate up here divided by the number of periods per year. So it should be 2%. If you get 8% a year, you're going to get 2% a quarter. And the total number of periods is going to be the number of years times the number of periods. We have 40 periods. 4 per year for 10 years. And then I want to know if this is at the end or the beginning. It says at the end, so we need to put a 0 here. And then it wants to know how much money you're going to have at the end. Okay, if you're talking about money at the end, that's going to be future value. So we need a future value function. And the rate is always the rate per period. Don't use the annual rate. So do the rate per period, comma, number of periods is 40, comma, and the payment is always negative, so put a minus sign and click on this. And in this case, you know, it doesn't really affect anything because it's 0. But if you did change it to a number, the formula would still work if we put that minus sign in front of C2. The present value is this. Now this is a savings problem, and this is basically the equivalent of a bunch of payments that I have already made. So it is also a negative number. So negative C1, comma, and I apparently lost the C1 there. Let me back up and try that again. So let me click on C1 and okay, and then a comma, and then I want to know the type, which is just this beginning or end value here, and then close the parentheses. So that money will be worth $55,200 at the end of 10 years. Now let's do the next one. If I borrow, so it's a borrowing problem, I borrow $30,000, that's going to be the present value. And when you borrow, you pay it all off at the end, and the annual rate is 10%, and the number of years is going to be 10 years, and we're doing monthly payments, so there's 12 periods per year. Now we got to put in a formula for the rate per period. It's going to be equal to the annual rate divided by slash the number of periods per year. So that's going to be 5/6%, or about 0.83%. And then the total number of periods is going to be equal to the number of years, right there, the 10, times the number of periods per year, which should give us 120. Okay, those are the two important numbers for our formula. And then are we doing this at the beginning or the end? We're doing it at the end, so we put a 0 there. And now I want to find the monthly payment. Well, that's obviously going to be the payment function. So let's go and I typed the last one in, but usually in class what we've done is we've gone to the Formulas tab here and gone to Financial and scroll down to PMT. And the rate is the rate per period. Don't put the annual rate in there. The number of periods is this, not the number of years. The present value in a loan is the $30,000. The future value is the 0. And the type is the 0 right here. And click on OK. And our monthly payment will be $396. Okay. And then the last one here is we can afford to make monthly payments of $400 for a car. So our monthly payment is $400. And monthly payments, we do 12 periods per year. The number of years is going to be 4 years. And the annual rate is 4%. The rate per period, now I got to compute that. It's going to be the annual rate, right there, 4%, divided by the number of payment periods per year, which is 12. The total number of periods is going to be the number of years, sorry about that, number of years times periods per year. I got those backwards, but I'll still get the same answer. So 12 a year for 4 years is going to be 48 payments. And the ending balance on a loan is going to be 0. And we're doing this at the end of the month again, so that's going to be 0 again. And how much can I afford to borrow? That would be how much money you'd have now, so that means it's a present value problem. So let's go to Financial and scroll down to PV, and there it is. And our rate is going to be the rate per period. The number of periods is going to be 48. The payment is always a negative number, so do a minus first and then click on the 400. The future value is going to be the ending balance 0, and the type of loan is going to be this, and then click on OK. And if that's what you can afford to pay every month, that's how much you can afford to borrow for your car. And we've been going for a while, so we will stop with this video and then we will finish with one more video.